Let's move on to talk about angle facts. We will use these angle facts to solve for missing angles. So look at this image off to the right here. Notice that angle A and angle C are opposite of each other. Similarly, angle B and angle D are opposite of each other. Angles that are opposite of each other are called vertical angles. Now, I haven't yet given you the measure of these angles. I haven't yet told you how much they measure to. Well, angle A measures 30 degrees. Angle B measures 150 degrees. Angle C measures 30 degrees. And angle D measures 150 degrees. So notice that the angles that are opposite of each other, the angles that come in vertical pairs, are equal. In general, when two lines meet, so to put that formally, I'm going to write when two lines intersect, vertical angles are equal. So anytime we have two lines that intersect, the pairs of vertical angles are equal. So in this example here, this angle is equal to that angle, and this angle is equal to this angle. Vertical angles are equal. Recall that earlier when we were classifying angles, we learned that a straight angle measures 180 degrees. So we're going to use that fact to write some things about these four examples here. In the first example, P and Q together form a straight angle. They lie on the same line. So P plus Q must be equal to 180 degrees. We have a similar thing going on in the next set with P and S. So angle P plus angle S must also be 180 degrees. Angle R plus angle S must also be 180 degrees. And finally, angle Q plus angle R must also be 180 degrees. Don't get confused here. These are four separate examples. Each of these pictures don't have anything to do with the last one. The point here is simply to illustrate that it doesn't matter which pair you're looking at when you're looking at two lines that intersect. If the two angles lie on the same line, then they form a straight angle, and hence they add up to give us 180 degrees. Now, each one of these pairs of angles that we've seen so far are called adjacent angles. The word adjacent by itself, even outside of mathematics, means next to each other. If two things are adjacent, then they're side by side. And notice that the angles that we pointed out here are all adjacent. All of these angles are next to each other. So generally speaking, when two lines intersect, adjacent angles form a straight angle. So now that we know that, it is safe for us to say that adjacent angles add up to 180, because for us to say that they form a straight angle is the same as us saying that they add up to 180 degrees. Adjacent angles add up to 180 degrees. I want to throw in a little example here. It's not included in the note sheet, but I want to add this in. Let's say that we have an image, and let's say that we have something like this going on. These lines are crooked. And let's say that this right here is a 36-degree angle. I'm going to call this A, B, C, and O. And if we want to find the measure of angle COB, so COB goes from C to O to B, so we're looking for this angle here. But we know from the image that angle COB and angle AOB, so angle AOB is this angle here from A to O to B, that those angles there are adjacent. They're right next to each other. We can see those are adjacent angles. And we know that adjacent angles sum up to 180 degrees. So it must be that 36 degrees, which is angle AOB, and the angle that we're looking for, when we add them together, we get 180 degrees. So to solve for angle COB, I can subtract 36 degrees from both sides of this equation to be left with angle COB is equal to 144 degrees. Our next angle fact involves triangles. The definition of a triangle is that it is formed by 3 different line segments. So we can see here we have an example of a triangle. There's one line segment, there's another line segment, and there's the third line segment. The line segments are called the sides of the triangles. So the lines that I sketched over in red, blue, and green, those are the 3 sides of the triangle. And the points where these lines meet, so P, Q, and R in the image, are called the vertices of the triangle. The interior angles of any triangle add up to 180 degrees. You demonstrated that in the last example that you answered in this presentation. So we can use the fact that these angles all add up to 180 degrees to solve a triangle. So let's say that in this image that angle P is 50 degrees and that angle Q is 85 degrees, and we want to find angle R. Well, we know that the sum of all 3 of these angles should be 180 degrees. We just learned that fact. So I'm going to start plugging in. I'm plugging in 50 degrees for angle P, and I'm plugging in 85 degrees for angle Q. We don't know what angle R is, and so I'm going to leave that as angle R for now, but I know they should add up to 180 degrees. I'm going to add up the 50 and the 85 on the left side of the equation. 50 plus 85 gives us 135 degrees, plus R equal to 180 degrees. I'm going to stick my angle symbol back in front of that R. We're trying to solve for R, so to get R by itself, we need to get rid of that 135. So I'm going to subtract 135 from both sides of the equation so that it will cancel out and leave me with angle R is equal to 45 degrees. And we can check that answer because if angle R is 45 degrees and P plus Q plus R should equal 180, then that means that when we add up P, which is 50 degrees, and Q, which is 45 degrees, and Q, which was 85 degrees, and R, which we found to be 45 degrees, that we should get 180 degrees, and we do. So angle R must be equal to 45 degrees.